the human feelings, and then there's the spiritual feelings, if you will. I mean, one feeling that Jesus exhibited, it was the shortest verse in the Bible. It's John 11:35. Jesus wept. Now, a lot of people have said to me, "Well, Pastor, I made it through the whole funeral without crying." I said, "That's nothing to be proud of." You know, he gives you the feeling of being sad and then grieving and the feeling of loss and grief when a loved one dies. You're supposed to cry at funerals whenever you have a loved one die. And even Jesus, when Lazarus died, he wept. Another feeling that a lot of people get on a human level, but it's not appropriate on a spiritual level, is revenge. You know, whenever somebody does something against you, the human nature kicks in and says, I'm going to get you for what you did. And on a spiritual level, it's just the opposite. In Romans 12:19, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. In other words, if somebody's hurt you, on a Christian level, you have to rise above your human nature by the power of the Holy Spirit within you and allow God to get vengeance on them and not take vengeance yourself, because it'll always backfire. If on a human level you get vengeance against somebody. And one of the things that we as humans have to discern is whether it's truly from the Holy Spirit or not. I mean, you don't want to confuse your feelings with a leading from the Holy Spirit. Let's say you have emotional feelings toward a man has emotional feelings toward a woman. That's normal. God put it in all men and women to be attracted to each other, for, you know, to end up in marriage together. A man and a woman are brought together, and a man leaves his family for the sake of being one with his wife. Well, beyond that, there's the spiritual feeling that in your heart and in your gut, you know, this is from God. You know, a side story on my particular relationship with Carmen uh, is whenever I was divorced, she was divorced. We were, you know, hadn't been married for a long time, but when I met her, I got this voice in my gut, in my not in my ears, not auditorily, but it's God's voice. I knew it was Him saying, "This one, this one." It's all He said. It wasn't a very long sentence.
Yeah.
And she had been told whenever she was a single mother for 20 years that someday she'd have a partner. Someday a man would introduce himself and say, "The Lord sent you to me." And I'm not kidding. The very first time that I met Carmen, we've met each other on eHarmony online, and we met together just for the introductory visit. And I said, "You know what, Carmen? The Lord sent you to me." She said, "Say that again." No, I mean, she knew at a heart level that we had a divinely appointed marriage. God told me this one. God told her that the man that's supposed to be with her would introduce himself by saying, "The Lord sent you to me." And so you have to be in tune with the Holy Spirit's messages versus your own feelings. I mean, yeah, you have a physical attraction toward a woman, that's normal. But I'm talking about a spiritual attraction where you want to be that person's husband or that person's wife for the rest of your life. And that's explained further in Galatians 5:16 through 18. I don't know if you're taking notes on any of this, but throughout our hour together, I'm going to be giving you different scriptures. If you want to, grab a pen or a pencil, write down some of the scriptures that I give you, and you can study them after I get an opportunity to spend an hour with Kevin. One of the other things, too, about getting the true feelings from God as opposed to your feelings another example is so common among men. A guy will walk into a bar with one of his buddies and he sees this beautiful woman in the bar and he says, "I think I'm in love." Well, no, you're in lust. And there's a difference between human lust and really being in love. Because if that particular person is supposed to be your spouse, it'll be an appointment from God, a divine appointment. And you have to guard your heart above all else because everything you do flows from it. That's in Proverbs 4:23. Proverbs 4:23 is guard your heart above all else. Everything you do flows from that. And especially whenever you're trying to follow the leading of the Holy Spirit in doing God's will in God's way, as opposed to running your own life. There's an old bumper sticker that says, "Jesus is my co pilot." The truth is, Christians need to move out of the driver's seat and make Jesus be the pilot, or let Him drive your car so that He'll get you to where you need to be a lot quicker and a lot more productively. Understand?
Brady Ministries International is a nonprofit 501c3 organization. Your tax-deductible donations may be sent to the address on our website, edbradyradio.com, edbradyradio.com. Thanks, and may God bless you for your support and for your prayers.